So what is up guys, Nick here helping you to master your technology, and welcome to Should You Buy the 6S Plus or the 7 Plus. It's 2019. I'm feeling in the mood to review some oldies today, and these two are high on my list because they're bigger iPhones that you can now get for substantially less money. I mean, the 7 Plus, this thing, you couldn't touch it for less than $700 for quite some time. Now you can get it at Apple in the fives, and you can get it online at places like eBay for $384, $350, maybe in the twos if somebody just really wants to get rid of that phone. So I think these are offering some good value if you want some software, some good software. Now, hardware, come on, we already know that these look classic and old. You can go in the comments, them dinosaurs, blah, blah, blah. You're not the target customer. If you're writing that, you're not the target person who's gonna be buying this. The person who's gonna be buying this is somebody who wants to start with an iPhone. They've never had one. They don't want to pay $1,000. They don't even want to pay $500. They just want to try it out. And these still offer some stellar software. Let's begin with which one should you buy in terms of design. And that's going to be the iPhone 7 Plus. You thought it was the 6 Plus, didn't you? Nah, not today. It's the iPhone 7 Plus. This one, why? Because it looks more like an 8 Plus, has a dual camera on board, giving it a little bit more of a modern look. Also comes in many different colors, and it has a cleaner aesthetic. The antenna line's kind of hidden at the top versus the antenna line here, which just looks really classic iPhone 6. I mean, this phone from the back looks a lot older than the iPhone 7 Plus, which looks a lot more like the 8 Plus. So if I was to pick one in design, it's gotta be the 7 Plus. And yes, this is one before you say that is not a 7 Plus, that's a iPhone 8 Plus. Over here, you can see iPhone 7 Plus right there. For those people gonna say that. Now, anyway, back to the overall feel in the hand. Lighter feel. This thing just feels lighter. I mean, I don't want to drop it, but it feels lighter than the 6S Plus. This one's a little heavier. Apple had to upgrade the aluminum because the iPhone 6 Plus snapped in half. We all know which video that was from. And the 6S Plus here, just heavier phone. Still has an industrial solid feel. It doesn't feel like a cheap phone by no means, but the 7 Plus sleeker, just lighter, just better looking design. So I'd pick the 7 Plus right now if you're looking for the one that's gonna look just a little bit more modern of these two. Neither of them look super modern, but the 7 Plus a little bit better here. In terms of display, you should keep in mind both of them do have the same exact resolution, 1920 by 1080, but there's one very big difference that I noticed between both of them. That's the way the colors are tuned. Apple tuned the 7 Plus to have a lot warmer of a color, so it's got a yellower look to it, I think, on the display, orangish look. It's more pleasing to the eye. It looks kind of like True Tone almost sometimes. The iPhone 6S Plus has more of a cool, colder look on the display. For me, I don't really prefer that. So if you like a colder display, you might like the 6S Plus, but if you like a warmer display, I'd say the 7 Plus is better for you. Now, they both have 3D touch on board, something the 10R doesn't even give you, but these are classic, 16 by 9 panels. A lot of videos are gonna look great on these, and you can see that we do have the landscape modes on both of them, giving them kind of an iPad feel when you go like that, something you don't even get on the XS Max. So that's pretty awesome for both of them. A little bit slow on that rotation, but you see, in terms of display, pretty close to even, but I have to give it to the 7 Plus for being a little bit better tuned. It also has a little bit more vibrational feedback when you're doing certain things on the screen. Like going through the 3D touch here, you can feel a little vibration. You're not gonna see it on camera. You can't see a vibration. You can only feel it. Over here, there's no vibration on the iPhone 6S Plus. So a little bit more refined display here for the 7 Plus. So moving on to software, this is the key reason why I still actually like these phones, and that's because it still has the latest software that Apple provides, and it's really smooth. I mean, all the spec upgrades have been happening over the past few years haven't really changed my overall experience besides, the display being stretched. That's a big difference. But in terms of the apps you're using on the phone and the things you're doing day to day, even dating back to the 6S Plus, it's not really a big difference whatsoever. So yeah, in terms of software, you're getting the same experience here on both. Still rather boring. I mean, there's not a lot you can do. It's just, grid of icons, your applications. You can go landscape, but there's no way to, put the icons wherever you want on the screen. There's no display information at a glance. You got your widgets over here, but They're not at a glance. There's no dark mode. Things will improve with iOS 13. Both of these should be receiving iOS 13. But if you want one for better long-term software support, the 7 Plus has the A10 Fusion, which is a better processor, giving you a little bit more updates. So I'd pick the 7 Plus if you want longer software support. In terms of performance, does the A9 to the A10 make a difference? And not too much, but the 7 Plus is a little snappier because it has 3 gigabytes of RAM. The random access memory on board here allows it to just feel a little snappier when doing pretty much everything on the phone. I mean, all the way up to the iPhone 10, Apple was putting 3 gigabytes of RAM, and the 7 Plus still shows really rock solid performance here, even in 2019. I guarantee you there's gonna be somebody in the comments who says, I still have a 7 Plus and it is rocking, like it's still really fast, and I agree with them there. Now the 6S Plus, sometimes I can see a slowdown versus this one with 2 gigabytes of RAM across this big screen. The newer iOS still runs very good, but 2 gigabytes of RAM is pretty low here in 2019. So I wouldn't pick this one for best performance. It's still good performance, but it's not the best performance. It's not as snappy as that 7 Plus. So yeah, that A10 CPU being on like the 2018 iPad just really makes me feel confident in how long Apple's gonna keep support on the 7 Plus. Now, when we go on to the battery life, this is a big deal for a lot of people, and for some reason my 6S Plus, when it got the newer updates, it started to get worse battery life. Now, not everybody's probably having the same experience as me. Battery is very individual, but I found the 7 Plus to be a little bit better on battery life than the 6S Plus. Neither of them are bad though. Both of these are all-day phones if you have good battery health on them. So what I mean by a little bit worse battery life is maybe an hour, like worse battery life for my 6S Plus in terms of usage, actual usage, like screen time. A standby is excellent for both of them. Both of them are very slow to charge though with the included chargers. You can use an iPad charger or just a higher watt charger to get a little bit faster charging. And neither of these support wireless charging, so you can't place these on wireless charging pads, which is kind of a bummer, but these are older devices, so you gotta know what you're getting into. Once again, I'd say for battery life, buy the 7 Plus. You'll be a little bit happier. One of the key differences here is audio, and it's a big deal because this was the phone that got rid of the headphone jack, the iPhone 7 series, and there's no headphone jack here, but it also gave you dual speakers. That's why this earpiece looks bigger than that one over there on the 6S Plus. So if you're the type of person who jams out with the audio from the external speakers, or you already have AirPods or you have wireless headphones, you're not the type who likes wires, you'll love the 7 Plus. It'll do just fine. It also gives you better external audio. Now the 6S Plus, on the other hand, if you're the type of person who likes your headphone jack, classic headphone jack there, this thing is still rocking with that. Last iPhone to do that. Now, the speaker over here is a little bit tinny in comparison. I mean, it gets plenty loud, but at the highest volumes, it's a little bit tinny. You can cover it really easily. So I really didn't like the experience of the 6S Plus with the external audio at all, but I did like having a headphone jack. I've gotten used to not having one, so I don't really mind the 7 Plus right now, but at the same time, it's really down to that. You should buy the 6S Plus right now if you're looking for a discounted iPhone, if you want a headphone jack. If you want really good external audio, go to the 7 Plus. Okay, so in terms of the cameras, it's pretty clear who's the winner. Dual camera, single camera, and it's not like, it just has a dual camera. Apple improves their cameras every year because some cheap phones have dual cameras, but both those cameras are whack on the back. So let's go to the Galaxy A50 and take a picture of this. So in good lighting, like for example, the light that's shining on this table right now as we record, the 6S Plus will not look much different at all from the 7 Plus. So daylight photos or bright light photos, you're not gonna see a huge difference ever between these two. Now, where you do see a huge difference between these two is the ability to zoom. So when you zoom in, you get digital zoom for the iPhone 6S Plus. Again, in good lighting, you won't see a huge difference, but optical zoom here allows you to get more sharpness on the 7 Plus. So that's a great thing as well. In addition, the 7 Plus brings portrait mode, which allows you to blur the background, giving you a more modern feature. And lastly, the iPhone 7 Plus also has a better front-facing camera than the one on the 6S Plus. But both of these cameras are pretty close. So in just general everyday photo taking, I think you won't notice too much of a difference. But if you're buying one of these secondhand, but you still want a good camera, look no further than the 7 Plus. It's definitely improved. But both of these really don't shine in low light. So They're gonna be pretty grainy, both of them, in low light, but 4K 30 on both, so they can both do 4K video, which is a thumbs up. And phone call quality was pretty similar between both. I didn't have an issue with either. Reception was strong on both of them. I think the 6S Plus may be a little bit better sometimes, but overall, really good phone call quality on both of these devices. Now, one thing I also should mention is the capacitive home button on here just feels a lot different. If you like a more, trackpad, like the MacBook trackpad feel, you'll love this one more than this clicky. This got that old clicky iPhone home button. It's satisfying. Hear that click? It's very satisfying, but still. At the end of the day, which one should you buy, the 6S Plus or the 7 Plus? If you're looking for the cheapest iPhone right now, the 6S Plus is an awesome way to try out iPhone. Still works very well. Latest software, and I think it's better than a lot of cheap Android phones. I mean, not like, $300-400 Android phones, but it's better than some of them $200 Android phones, like the Moto G7 Play, for example, something like that. Now, the 7 Plus, though, still an excellent iPhone, performs almost identical to a newer iPhone. And let's not talk about the 8 Plus. This is between these two right here. I want to know, which one would you guys pick up here in 2019 if you're deciding to go secondhand and try one out? Let us know if you had these in the past, if you watched this video. Share with the community your experience. If you did this upgrade before and you already moved on, share that as well. Helps people out to decide, because remember, not everybody's buying the latest phone. Some people are buying these older devices, and that's why we reviewed the oldies today. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.